I used to think that the most frightening things in life announce themselves loudly. Sirens, screams, the crack of something breaking in the night. I believed fear had volume, that it needed spectacle. What I did not understand, what Korean folklore has whispered for centuries, is that some spirits arrive quietly. They do not slam doors. They do not rattle chains. They simply stand where they should not be and wait. In old Korean tales, there are ghosts born from resentment, from injustice, from deaths that felt unfinished. They are not always tied to houses or graves. Sometimes they attach themselves to crossroads, to rivers, to empty fields, to the spaces where the living pass without paying attention. They are patient. They do not rush their vengeance. They let you continue your life. They let you believe everything is normal. Until one evening, it isn't. I live in a small coastal town in the Pacific Northwest. The kind of place with jogging trails that wind along cliffs, coffee shops with handwritten chalkboard menus, and farmers' markets on Saturdays where everyone pretends they know each other's names. It feels safe, predictable. The ocean is a constant presence, gray and restless, stretching toward a horizon that rarely shows the sun. Every evening after work, I run along the coastal path. It is a well-maintained trail, gravel underfoot, wooden railings along the steepest drops, solar-powered lights spaced evenly, though they only glow faintly after sunset. There is nothing about it that suggests danger. And yet, 3 months ago, something began waiting for me there. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a trick of distance. It was late, later than usual. A thin fog rolled in from the water, softening the edges of everything. I was about a mile into my run when I noticed someone standing near the cliff's edge ahead. A woman, long hair blown forward by the wind, wearing what looked like a pale dress, though that made no sense in October cold. She stood perfectly still, not looking at the ocean, not looking at her phone, just standing. I slowed my pace. "Hey," I called out, more from courtesy than concern. "You okay?" She did not respond. The fog shifted, and in the span of a blink, she was gone. No footsteps, no retreating figure along the path, just empty gravel. I told myself she had stepped down a side trail, that I had simply missed it. I continued running, but the air felt colder, thicker, as if the fog had weight. The next evening, I ran earlier. Clear sky, no fog, the path empty except for a couple walking a dog. And then, halfway through my route, she was there again. Same spot, same posture, same pale shape against the darkening sea. My stomach tightened. This time I did not call out. I approached slowly. The wind carried the scent of salt and something faintly metallic. She stood at the very edge of the cliff, too close. Toes nearly over nothingness. Her hair obscured her face. I stepped closer. Gravel crunched beneath my shoes. She did not react. "Miss?" I said quietly. Her head tilted, not turning toward me, just tilting, at an angle that felt wrong, too sharp, too deliberate. I took another step and realized something that froze my breath in my chest. Her feet were not touching the ground, not fully. The tips of her toes grazed the gravel. The rest of her weight seemed suspended. The wind did not move her dress. It did not ripple. It hung straight down, as if under water. I blinked, and she was gone again. The ocean roared below, the sky darkened, and I stood alone. I stopped running for a week after that. I told friends I was busy, overtime at work. Minor ankle strain, I avoided the trail entirely. But avoidance has a strange way of sharpening curiosity. Korean folklore speaks of spirits known as wonhon, restless souls filled with unresolved emotion. They linger in places where they died, especially if the death was sudden, especially if no one witnessed it. They appear to those who walk alone, not to frighten at first, to be seen, to be acknowledged. The following Saturday I went back, not at night, in broad daylight. The trail was crowded, families with strollers, cyclists, a man flying a kite near the bluff, everything painfully normal. When I reached the spot, there was a small bouquet of wilted flowers tied to the railing, white lilies, browned at the edges, a laminated photograph beneath them, faded by sun. A young woman, long dark hair, smiling. The date beneath her picture read October 17th. 3 years ago. I checked my phone. October 17th. Today. Ah. A jogger slowed beside me. Tragic, he muttered. What happened? I asked. He glanced at the photo. College student went missing after a party. They found her body down there a week later. He gestured toward the jagged rocks below the cliff. No one knows if she fell or jumped. He jogged on, leaving me alone with the photograph. The girl in the picture, the same pale dress, the same long hair, but in the photo, her head was straight, not tilted. That night, I could not sleep. The sound of the ocean seemed louder than usual, though my apartment sat miles inland. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her standing at the cliff's edge, waiting. The next evening, despite every instinct screaming against it, I returned to the trail at dusk. The fog rolled in thicker this time, the path empty. The solar lights flickering weakly, my heartbeat echoed in my ears. When I reached the railing, she was not by the edge. She was on the path, standing directly in front of me, no more than 10 feet away. Her hair parted slightly, enough for me to see her face. Her eyes were open, too wide, unblinking. Her lips were parted as if about to speak, but no breath escaped them. Her skin was pale with a faint bluish tint, and her neck tilted, as though something had broken it. I could not move. The air pressed against my chest. She took a step toward me. No sound of gravel, no shift in balance, just movement. Slow, gliding. I didn't jump, she whispered. The voice did not come from her mouth. It seemed to rise from the wind, from the sea, from inside my own head. I didn't jump. My throat tightened. I don't know what you want, I managed. Her head tilted further, an impossible angle. You saw me. The fog thickened around us. The world narrowed to the space between her and me. You see me? Her arm lifted, pointing not at the cliff, but at the path behind me. I turned. There was no one there. When I faced her again, she was closer, close enough that I could see faint bruising along her jaw. Finger-shaped, dark. Yeah, they didn't look, she whispered. Her voice trembled with something deeper than sadness, resentment. They didn't look. The temperature dropped suddenly. My breath fogged. The solar lights along the trail flickered out, one by one, until we stood in near darkness. The ocean below churned violently, though there was no storm. Her face moved closer. Her eyes searched mine. You walk past. The words felt heavier now, accusing. You all walk past. I felt a crushing weight on my shoulders, as though invisible hands pressed down, forcing me toward the cliff's edge. My heels scraped against gravel. Pebbles tumbled into the abyss. I tried to speak, but her expression shifted. Not sorrow now, not pleading. Something colder. You see? Her hand reached toward my chest, and though I felt no physical touch, a coldness seeped inward, deep, spreading through bone. In that moment, I understood. She did not want comfort. She did not want sympathy. She wanted witness. She wanted someone to know the truth, that she had not chosen the fall, that someone else's hands had pushed her into darkness, but she could not speak their name, and so she lingered, every October 17th, on the path, waiting for someone to see, waiting for someone to carry the weight. The pressure on my back increased. The cliff behind me felt closer. I could hear the ocean roaring below. My balance faltered. Her face inches from mine now. "Stay," she whispered. Ah, and for a split second, I felt the urge to let go, to lean backward, to join her in the endless gray below. The thought did not feel like mine. It felt placed there carefully, gently, like a suggestion, from someone who had been alone too long. A car horn blared in the distance. Sharp, jarring, reality snapped back into place. The fog shifted. The pressure vanished. I stumbled forward onto the path. She stood by the cliff again, hair falling over her face. Still watching, I ran. I did not look back. Police reopened her case last month. Anonymous tip. Details only someone present that night could have known. They arrested a former boyfriend. The bruising in the autopsy report suddenly made sense. The town whispers now, speculates, pretends it always suspected something, but every October 17th, I still avoid the trail, because last night, at exactly dusk, as I drove past the coastline, I saw a figure standing near the railing, not by the edge, but further back, watching the road, head no longer tilted, neck straight. And as my headlights passed over her, she turned, slowly, deliberately, and smiled. Some spirits linger because they are angry. Some linger because they are lost. And some stay until someone finally sees. But seeing comes at a cost, because now, every time I close my eyes, I feel the faintest pressure against my back, as though someone stands just behind me, waiting to see if I will step forward or fall.